don't forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby Maine. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
Listen, they trying to take away from me, Mr. Cheto. This might be the last one for a while. You know I'm coming crazy. Ain't number all foreigns out this bitch. Hey, boss, what up, nigga? My nigga got his red bottoms on and Bo Robinson right now.
10 years ago, they danced in the streets here in Atlantic City. They danced in the streets and promenaded along this boardwalk as the corks popped and the champagne bubbled. Atlantic City, you see, had been down on its luck. The tourists had stopped coming. Unemployment was rising and neighborhoods were dying. This queen of resorts was beginning to look like a tattered old bag lady huddled on a boardwalk bench. So the voters in New Jersey listened when the politicians, boosters, and businessmen preached deliverance through gambling. They listened and they bought it. Casino gambling was invited to Atlantic City. This was the deal they cut. We'll let you in, Atlantic City said to the casinos, but when you come, bring visitors to our beaches, trade to our merchants, and jobs to our residents. In some ways, that gamble paid off beyond anyone's wildest dreams. There are 30 million visitors here every year, 40,000 new jobs, and $3 billion in new investment. Money pours in. On those promises, the casinos delivered, but not in the way Atlantic City expected. The jobs have mostly gone to people who live outside the city. The new visitors rarely leave the casinos, and little of this new prosperity has trickled down to the city's streets and neighborhoods. This is a shattered city. There's no longer a movie theater, department store, or major supermarket. The elderly and the poor who stayed simply cannot afford decent housing. The boardwalk and the downtown are a shambles of seedy stores and vacant lots. They stopped dancing in these streets a long time ago.
Niggas fuck with me, nigga. Niggas come out from all over, all states, nigga. That's what we do. Niggas fuck with me, nigga. Niggas come out from all over, all states, nigga. That's what we do.
SC State basketball is back.
Distributing the basketball. Watch Toombs take the ball. He finds the opening, a little gap in there. Reverses it and goes underneath and goes up on the glass. Carolina State's guards play pretty well. I think the one thing they do well is put the ball on the deck and take it straight to the basket. There's that for
This investigation was conducted by the Atlantic City Police Department with assistance from the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office, the DEA Atlantic City Resident Office, and the Liberty Mid-Atlantic DEA Atlantic County Highway Task Force. This drug distribution network utilized a series of stash locations and street-level dealers to distribute heroin in Atlantic City. This investigation was led by Detective Christopher Dodson with the assistance of Detective Darren O'Grady, James Barrett, and several other detectives from Atlantic City Police Department Special Investigations Section. Members of the Atlantic City SWAT Team, Atlantic County Regional SWAT Team, the New Jersey and New York DEA SRT Team, and the New Jersey State Police Teams Unit assisted in execution of the search warrants. Also with us today is Mayor Small. Over the last several months, Mayor Small and I have had several conversations regarding the condition of Florida Avenue and the concerns brought to our attention by the area businesses and residents. I had assured the mayor that we had a plan in place, and today is the culmination of that plan. The Mayor's Office, the Atlantic City Police Department, will continue to address the concerns of the community regarding these issues. And as you can see from everyone gathered here today, the spirit of cooperation between all government entities is at an all-time high, and it will continue to the future.
It's summer, and the boardwalk in Atlantic City is open for business. But there's a lethargy to the rhythm here. The trams seem intent on taking you past certain sections of the boards, like here, where a merchant was stabbed and killed in April.
I wouldn't go into the city.
It was very good at the beginning. Now you can't let your kids outside. There's no safety at night. The police leave the boardwalk at 6 p.m. and you're on your own. All merchants are on their own after that.
We only have 3 months to make money here. That's our whole season. And we don't want people to not be able to come to Atlantic City because they're scared of violence, of crime.
Now, what was it that Biggie said? You either lock in fent blocks or you got a wicked jump shot? New Jersey, what up though? We in the area. Y'all meet us in AC, down at the pier. Now, today I'm going to do my best to try to tell y'all about a city that when most people think about it, I'm sure the first thing that'll probably come to mind is going to be opportunity, casinos, and bankrolls. And then I'm going to tell you about the real side of the city. But also while doing that, I'm also going to tell you guys the story of a standout basketball player that would start at the high school with the city's namesake, Atlantic City High, that within 10 years would go from having hoop dreams to being charged as a heroin kingpin, responsible for over 40 fatal overdoses, as well as a murder for hire plot. And that person that we're talking about today is going to be a guy by the name of Khalif Toombs. Now, Khalif, who would go on to be a 4-year player and an important part of South Carolina University's men's basketball team from 2009 to 2012, will first appear on the basketball radar right around 2006 and 2007 during his junior year, according to the high school Bible, Max Preps. The team would be good enough to amass a 23-7 record that year, 17-1 in the league, and going 20-9 the very next year. Now, after graduating from Atlantic City High School, he would find himself down in Florida at one of the top high school programs in the nation, IMG Academy, where he would take part in some kind of after-graduate basketball program. And it looked like the work that he would put in there and back home at Atlantic City High would land him a spot on South Carolina State University's men's basketball roster. And while there, every year he would get a little bit more and more playing time and seem to get a little bit better and better. Whereas a freshman, he would start out averaging 6.7 points. And by his senior year, though he wasn't putting up LeBron James-like numbers, you would have to say they were serviceable at the least, with him averaging 12.3 points per game, 5.3 assists, and 3.3 rebounds. And though I would see something about his name in the 2013 draft during the course of my research, unfortunately, he would go undrafted. I'm not quite sure why, but unlike a lot of other college players that would go undrafted and would end up in things like the NBA's D-League or even playing overseas trying to keep their basketball dreams going. Not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but Khalif would end up back in his hometown of Atlantic City, where I saw that he did do some coaching. But when you make it, and whether y'all know it or not, obtaining a basketball scholarship and being able to parlay that into a 4-year degree is essentially kind of making it out the hood. So when you what they call make it and you go back to the hood, sometimes in my eyes, that's just a perfect recipe for disaster. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's plenty of people that made it under these circumstances and went away from the hood and came back and had positive effects on the hood. But a lot of times in those situations, people will put themselves on their own pedestal. And a lot of times the hood would help keep them on that imaginary pedestal. And to me, I don't even think it's something that happens intentionally. It's just something that happens subconsciously. They're not used to seeing you, and they're used to seeing you do, in their eyes, what they would consider big things: going to college, getting a scholarship, playing on national TV, playing against these big programs. And depending on who you're talking to, they could easily say that Khalif got sucked in. And you can say that the fame that he once garnered from the court, he now garnered from the streets. Because almost 8 years from the day when he would have one of his best games in history, dropping 30 points and a win, edging out hometown New Jersey Institute of Technology, he would be in Camden, New Jersey on November 2nd, 2020, just entering a guilty plea as the leader of an Atlantic City drug trafficking organization. with a judge handing him an 11-year sentence. In a conspiracy that also included 22 other individuals, the government would present evidence that Toombs was the leader of the drug conspiracy, alleged that he, along with others, would traffic heroin from Paterson, New Jersey, into Atlantic City. Toombs himself would admit in court to conspiring with others to traffic upwards of 10 kilograms of heroin during the period of the investigation. The FBI would state that the investigation tracked multiple stamps of heroin being distributed by Toombs and members of his organization, with the heroin being branded as AK-47, Apple, Fortnite, Rolex, Frank Lucas, Bentley, Pandora, and 9.5, leading the feds to state that between January 1st of 2017 and June 21st of 2019, those stamps accounted for 48 deaths and 84 non-fatal overdoses in New Jersey alone. It's hard to say that anybody that got sentenced to 11 years is lucky by any stretch of the imagination, but when you're the leader of an organization that's tied to almost 50 fatal overdoses, but Khalif Toombs wouldn't even get a chance to think about anything that had to do with luck, because just 2 years into that 11-year bid on that drug rap, authorities would connect him to a 2019 New Year's Day homicide of a man by the name of Lamar King. Authorities would be called to the 700 block of North Ohio Avenue, where they would find Lamar King in a vehicle with multiple gunshot wounds, unconscious. They would pronounce him dead on the scene. A few months later, they would arrest a 53-year-old male by the name of Jamie Sewell from Atlantic City, and he would end up being charged for that murder. Not sure if the authorities were able to crack the 53-year-old or if they were able to connect Khalif Toombs to the crime via other evidence, but while serving his federal time, he would be hit with a slew of other charges, conspiring with another person to purposely cause the death of Lamar King, an accomplice procuring the commission of the murder of Lamar King by payment or promise of payment, knowingly possessing a handgun without a permit, and knowingly possessing a handgun with the purpose of using it unlawfully against another person. So at 32 years old, in the beginning stages of an 11-year federal sentence, it looks like the state of New Jersey is going to try to give Khalif Toombs all he can handle while taking him to trial on that murder rap. Now, y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and the subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real, trill, spill shit is dropping. Y'all head downstairs, hit that comment box up, let me know where I need to go to, what I missed, what I got wrong, what's going on in these streets. Y'all tapping with me directly, Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And per usual, I'm going to be back just as fast as I left. It's your ace Popalot. Salute the almighty MOBB.